Anytime a new technology comes along, somebody has to examine the security implications of that, and people, the cost may be cheaper, more data, bigger bandwidth and all that. What are security implications? Because the people who develop this technology don't think of security implications. And I have a deep root background in security, and I say everything new comes along, they don't have security experts side by side. So that's the danger.
Welcome to the My Future Business Show, where we get you in front of your best audience and keep you there. Not only are we interviewing the biggest names in business to help you become even more successful, we're inviting you to book your spot on the show to help you grow your business. So at the end of the call, make sure you fill in the interview application form at myfuturebusiness.com/interviews. Hi, and welcome back to the My Future Business Show. My name's Rick Nusky, and I have somebody incredibly talented on the line with us today. But before we jump into that and introduce this wonderful individual, I'd just like to take a second of pause to thank you so very much for supporting the show. Your feedback is warming, it's humbling, and it's making all the difference, knowing that it's making a difference for you. Now, with all that being said, on today's call, I'm going to be spending some time with Mr. Tarachand. How are you, Tara?
Good evening, Rick Nusky. I'm well. I hope you're well too, and we're staying safe in this COVID worldwide climate.
Yes, it's a challenge globally, isn't it, for all of us? And Tara will talk more about that in a moment. But just to give our audience a bit of a background, Tara, about you. I'm wondering if you can share where you're located and what you're involved with in your work life.
A very good question, Rick. So I am based in Southern California, and I have a passion for innovation. And many years ago, I was innovating across many disciplines, so many areas of knowledge and technology, and I was struggling what to call this business, proper choose, because it didn't fit anything. So I ended up calling Internet Promise Group, because that's the new technology, internet coming forward in the future. It has problems and many different ways to help the society and community. So I called it Internet Promise Group. And luckily, over time, I innovate across 7 different market verticals, and you can learn that from my website. But if you're curious about my background, okay, I would give you my background in 2 parts. One is my education and family background, and then second, how I come to innovate, So I come from a family of doctors and engineers in India, New Delhi, and my father was an ophthalmologist. He was world-renowned. He would create new surgical techniques and solve many problems that other doctors couldn't solve. So I'm proud of my parents from that respect.
Absolutely.
My mom was a housewife and very nurturing, and then all my brothers and sisters are professionals. And I immigrated to USA almost 40 years ago, and I have been for the last 30 years in Southern California. So I was lucky to go to Indian Institute of Technology in New Delhi, which is a well-known institution worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
Was with British help early in the time. I did have professors from Imperial College, and then after the economy was taking downturn at that time, so I immigrated to England. I was there for 3 years. I went to Master of Science in Systems Engineering in Queen Mary College. You might know that. Thoroughly enjoyed my time, because system engineering was my pet subject, because I was curious about many things in the world. And so after that, I came to USA, and I worked for many decades in aerospace and defense industries. It was fascinating to learn what the USA was doing. It's like a technological society compared to the India, which is like a different kind of society.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so very much for sharing your background in such a deep way. Thank you very much. Now, I wonder, do you find it hard to sleep at night?
Hard to sleep at night?
Yes, because you're so busy with new ideas. Do you suddenly wake up in the middle of the night thinking, I've got to capture this idea? Do you find that you can switch off?
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So let me share some of that. So I think you may wonder, your audience may wonder, how can this guy innovate across so many different market verticals?
Mm.
So that's a secret I want to share with you and your audience. What happens that I'm asked, this is my own question to myself, that how can I do that? And so the answer came that if I see a problem, however it comes across to me in a magazine or a news item or people talking about it, the problem stays in my head, my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then subconsciously, I analyze all facets of the problem. And the problem has many elements. I have a vast mental intellect space that I mentally analyze the problem, how it came about, where it came about, why is it like that, all facets of the problem, up, down, below, every place. And then that's all I do. I just analyze the problem, and then my subconscious overnight, over many nights or many months, hands me a perfect solution in my mental subconscious. And I say, wow, how did that happen?
Mm.
That's a mystery to myself because so I turned the problem to my subconscious, and subconscious works 24 hours, nighttime, daytime, and I'm doing other things, and suddenly say, "Oh, Tara, here's a solution." I say, "Wow, it's amazing how it came about." And that's the fascinating. Then I call that a God-given gift to be able to. And I take problem in any space, not just engineering and technology, but human interactions or other aspects of society and all that. And that's why I write movie scripts as well. And I set up a goal. Say, I don't want to write a movie script for a banana. I want to write a movie script that at least has the potential for $1 billion. So also early in my life, I was doing innovations of small problems. I said, no, not worth it, not fascinating. Now I want to solve the biggest problem. Give me the biggest problem the universe has, including COVID. I have a solution for it.
We need more people exactly like you right now, because we're obviously going through a global pandemic with the COVID-19, but you also have something underway in relation to that space. But before we talk about that, you talked about writing movie scripts. What else do you like to do for entertainment?
I watch TV. I enjoy TV. I listen to music.
Mm-hmm.
And basically that's like to share with you that while I'm watching a TV that's on surface, subconscious is still working on the problem. It's like a computer multitasking. So if while I'm sleeping, I'm resting, but my mind is working on subconsciously on the problems.
I just wonder, do you find that you get up early in the morning? What does a day look like for you, Tara?
I wake up around 8 o'clock. I enjoy my early morning sleep because that new ideas come up that time. I have an iPad next to my bed. If I come up, I record notes on that.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I get up and make tea for the family. Specialty I created. I'm creative in making new recipes and new things like that. And so I created tea that I find it very good. And my wife didn't like it, but now she likes it. So
Mm-hmm.
then I relax, sit down, drink the tea, and more ideas come. So my ideas are popping all over the time, non-stop. And I say, oh, not worth pursuing, give it up. I look for very big solutions.
Well,
So
right now, Tara, you're involved with a COVID-19 solution that does not require the help of vaccines, which is incredibly important work. Tell us a little bit more about that, if you could.
sure, Nick, I'll be happy to. Let's see. Yes, so we just filed last week a final submission to FDA for they have a program called a new drugs or a EUA emergency use authorization program where if the drug already existed, used for some other purpose, then repurposing it, they call it EUA, and so they can quickly approve that. So
Mm-hmm.
that's pending, and it went through a couple of iterations because they said this is lacking, like the risk analysis and all that. So I refined their application, so it's pending, hopefully. So what happens is this. So that's going back to what I just shared with you. So the problem stays in my head, and solution comes from subconscious. So I'm sitting here, say, oh, interesting, COVID virus. What kind of virus is that?
Mm-hmm.
What is all that thing. And then a solution came. I was watching a video or movie, or not movie, sorry, a news program where they showed in China they had disinfecting a interior of a plane, commercial jetliner, by taking the gun, that garbed in protective gear, and spraying the entire plane to kill the whatever, disinfect
Mm-hmm.
it. Wow, that's interesting. You can disinfect interior of a commercial jetliner by spraying that. I said, well, why can't you do that with the human lungs? This is a very special virus. It attacks the lungs first and is free floating in the lungs. People think the virus goes in the blood, but this is free floating in your lungs, And
Yes.
why can't I disinfect, what's called humidify, not what's the proper word for that, disinfect the lungs? And I said,
Through an aerosol.
yeah, that's an interesting idea. So I didn't know much, and many months. So the two problems came up then. Well, disinfect with what? Second, how do you disinfect? I wasn't aware of the aerosol or nebulizer. I luckily found research on the internet. Nebulizer is a perfect mechanism for taking a liquid medicine, turn it into a steam or vapors,
Yep.
or and you can inhale that. I didn't know that, before. I just researched that on the web. I said, that's a perfect way to do that. Inhale that, and be already being used for other medicines, for temporary solutions. And I said, I'm not looking for temporary solution. I'm looking for permanent solution. So once I figured out that the humidifier or the nebulizer is the perfect solution for this, what disinfectant I could use that's safe for the humans.
Mm-hmm.
And come from India, I have a little bit better knowledge of the fundamentals of some of these botanicals, that the properties, and I knew mustard seeds or mustard oil. I had used mustard oil in a different medicine called Ear Natural, where, let me digress for 1 second, if I might.
Yes.
So right now, if you have middle ear infection, virus or bacteria in a flu season or whatever, the solution is go to urgent care doctor. He looks in the ear, say ear infected. Here's amoxicillin antibiotic. Take it for 5 days. Problem solved. That's what happens. So my subconscious delivered to me a formula made of essential oils, two different essential oils.
Mm-hmm.
You take that and drop in few drops in each ear, or ear that's paining or itching, and within 5 minutes the infection is gone from the roots. Okay. No antibiotics, no 5 days, no urgent care. Okay. So I'm telling you the power of some of these botanicals like mustard seed oil. They eat it as a part of relish, mustard relish,
Yep.
but it has certain chemicals or compounds that will kill the virus in contact. So that's the background I'm telling you. So what happens? So I was aware of that, and also neem is very popular in India and all over the world now. A lot of research going on, and I said neem has also antiviral properties, will kill virus in contact. So taking that knowledge and experimenting with it, I filed an application, which is a combination of many of these botanicals, and taken as a mist through nebulizer will just kill the virus outright, and you're floating in the lungs.
Oh, wow. Given the amount of conversation that's going on globally with all the governments, heads of state, and just the pushback, so it seems, from government, I'm very hopeful that this comes to the fore as one of the stream of vaccines and solutions that we all so desperately need. I wonder if we could, Tara, could we talk about subconscious? Because I know that a lot of people don't really understand it, and I wonder, is there a way to train our subconscious to do more for us so that we can become more creative, like yourself?
Sure. I think that there's a saying in India that if nature gives you a problem, it also gives you a solution at the same time. And it's just a matter of you finding the right solution. Look for it. It's not like God would not give you a problem; it doesn't give you a solution as well. So it wants the
Yes.
human to find a solution. So that's what happened in this case. And so intuition is people call it intuition. Let me, if I may, take a few minutes to describe that. So human mind has two different parts to it. If I'm using some terms that may not make sense to you, the audience, but believe me. So it's called a foreground and a background. Okay. Foreground is where your mind works, thinks, acts,
Yep.
and a background is a background which is silent. Like if you watch like a drama, is a foreground where the action is happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
The which is watching the action being taken place along with the audience. So what happens that uh, all the solutions, potential solutions, lie in the background. So you have to learn the technique to know a problem in the foreground and then somehow subconsciously take it to the background. The background, is subconscious mind will deliver you the solution. Does it help?
Yes, absolutely. It certainly does. And is this about trusting yourself to allow that the universe will deliver everything you need in terms of solutions?
Yeah. Well, one time, let me share one more thing. That I many years ago, I came in contact with Swami Muktananda. You might have heard his name.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So over years, foreigners went to India, asked him questions in the evening meetings, and a lot of questions were asked. He answered all them. And one question somebody was asking a question, say, well, Baba, the book says this, book this says this, And the Baba replied, say, well, the books came first or the mind came first? The mind came first, they created the books. So trust your mind, not the books, right?
Yes, absolutely. I wonder as time goes by and we all move through life, do you look to different people for inspiration? Who do you follow? Who do you like listening to?
I don't look to people for inspiration. I marvel. I marvel at the human beings, the
Yes.
creation, the nature, and the gods. It's God's creation. I marvel at the God's creation, and and I'm one of that creation. So I marvel at me, and I marvel at what's called Elon Musk.
There are a lot of amazing people around.
Yes. So I don't, the question comes up when I was growing up in high school, who's your leader? Who's your leader? I said, well, I don't follow any leader. I'm my own leader.
I wonder if I could ask, with all of the patents that you have in place and the inventions and solutions that you've come up with, Tara, what is one that has really impressed you?
A very good question. So the most difficult problem, as I understood, was internet or cybersecurity.
Mm-hmm.
In the control of others, International Engineering Task Force. And so you can touch it. So how can you innovate a cybersecurity problem without touching the internet? So that was the most difficult problem, and I figured out a way to do that, and I won't have time to discuss in detail right now.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the most difficult problem. And then also, as a corollary to that, for example, let's say, there's an idiom in India when I growing up saying, if it's like a stupid idiom, but the way it goes is that if you don't like the sound of flute, if you destroy the flute, somebody else will make more flutes. So you have to destroy the bamboo species of bamboo. They can't make any more flutes. So if you have to destroy the problem at the root, then you have to destroy the problems. For example, the technology we're working on right now and we're launching within a few months is called a card score platform, where you can make a payment to any merchant, online or retail store, without the card being present in any shape and form in your mobile device or the merchant. So basically, the problem was the data being stolen from either from your computer or from the merchant's computer system or intermediaries and all that. I said, well, let's kill the problem from the root. Let's get rid of the data. So we built a platform called CardScore platform. You can learn more about that we have a salestransactionsystem.com website. Salestransactionsystem.com describes that, and it's a platform that we eliminate the problem from the roots. And when I do that, I say, well, you don't want to make life complicated, common people. So it's a very easy, super convenient, super secure, and super human friendly.
Yes.
Human. I'm a big student of now human factor. All of my new innovations have intrinsically the human factor aspect. Or it's the people touching the technology. You don't want to make the life complicated. You want to make it simpler, right?
Yes.
So that's the biggest part of my innovations that I have done, in any field.
Thank you so very much. I'm just amazed with some of the ideas and the concepts that you've come up with, Tara. I wonder. I know that some people are motivated by money. Some people are motivated by a greater good. What motivates you to do what you do?
Very interesting, good question, Rick. I think that Money motivates me. Money not in the max that I needed to live on. I have plenty to live on myself.
Hmm.
Is good for the world. If I did make a lot of money, like Bill Gates or whatever, I would use it to solve the world's problems. Any area. And improve the lives of the people and all that. Many other people are doing that too, and that's what I want to say. I'm like a hermit in my thinking. I don't need much comfort or luxury. I just focused on helping.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. Thank you again for sharing. I wonder, a man of your talents and skills and brilliant mind, do you do any professional speaking? Who do you share your work with?
I would love to, and I think I'm working with a PR agency that is trying to find ways for me to speak. I would love to speak to any audience. We are looking to go to TED, talk. Uh,
TEDx?
yeah, and file application, and we're trying to find out. But I think that if you can help in that regard, I'll be very appreciated. That I'm willing to speak. I'm willing to share my knowledge, how I innovate, in what areas innovate, how the innovation happened, including how the movie scripts came about.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
yeah, the underlying is I'm trying to solve. The movie scripts aren't just entertainment; they are a entertainment with a message, trying to solve a problem, conflict, human conflict.
Yes, yes. I wonder, Tara, given what you know of the world and the global society that we essentially live in together, what sort of technology and advancements do you see in the next 10 years?
Well, this very, very interesting subject. I think about that. If think about it. You can be any part of the world, and you pick up your cell phone, mobile phone, and talk to anybody. It's such a fascinating piece of technology. I may be talking to my wife next door. She calls me on the phone, mobile. You may be talking to your brother or somebody in Russia, China, any place. You pick up the phone within 4 or 5 seconds, you have a connection. And so I marvel with that. And essentially, that's one. I want to share one more thing with you is that I was in a building in a basement, and my cell phone connection, the bars disappeared. I came out within 5-10 seconds. The bars came back. As a fascinating. What is the cellular technology?
Yep.
And so research, and they found out that there's a issue in that fundamental issue, and I could solve it. I filed a patent. I got a patent. We're trying to market that. I call the technology GPS Smart because other than location, I'm using GPS in a very smart way. So what happens that your phone, as a part of its natural operation, technical operation, has to being able to talk to China or next door or whatever, India, your phone has to emit every 3 seconds, I'm here, I'm here. The signal is picked up by the cellular network, and they say, oh, which area of this whole global network you're calling from, they record that. So if somebody calls you from any place, they go to the database and say, oh, you are in that part of cell, and they try to connect you, right?
Yep.
So I said, that's great. I said, but if you are stationary in a place, for 1 hour, 1 minute, or 10 hours in a day, or sleeping, you don't have to say, I'm here, I'm here. So I researched that, and I got a patent where you put a tiny bit of GPS logic within your phone where the logic checks if you moved like 100 feet or less or more. And
Yep.
if you have moved, then don't say, I'm here, I'm here. It's a artificial intelligence logic tied to your personal movement behavior, whether you go to office or shopping or whatever. When you're moving, then it sends, I'm here, I'm here. And if you're not moving, it doesn't send that I'm here, I'm here. So that's almost like a 80-90% saving on I'm here signals. And that's almost 90% battery life.
Yeah, that as well. I wonder, if you mentioned AI, and I think of threats when I think of AI. Should we be scared of technology?
I am scared of technology, yes, because it requires what's the word? How do I say that? Yeah, because you have to remember what doesn't exist in front of you. If you have 3 squares in front of you, you can select one of three, easy. But if you don't have any square, it's a select. You have to remember what the three options are, and it's very the mind to remember all the information as part of the moment. So artificial intelligence, as Elon Musk has spoken, is that has a good side and a bad side too. Use it different ways. Go back to one second. So GPS Smart is not only saving radiation coming out of your phone, eliminating it 80-90% of time based, as well as saving your battery life, but this is happening for every cell phone around you. So, for example, every cell phone around you has the same feature. It doesn't emit "I'm here" unless they're moved. Then you cut down the entire radiation in the space environment by 80-90%.
That's incredible. I wonder, would that benefit the actual network providers as well?
Yeah, the network benefits a great deal because the network is precious. In a given area, you can only handle thousands of calls based on the spectrum bandwidth. So it helps. This technology, GPS Smart, not only helps the individual phone owner, it helps the networks too because it makes more efficient use of the spectrum.
Absolutely. I I think about networks, cellular networks. That's a mouthful, and I think about 5G. There seems to be a lot of concern about 5G. What are your takes on 5G technology?
Well, I think it's a other people are saying that it's more security prone, more security danger.
Hmm.
So go back in times when you had landlines, okay, and nobody had security problems. Then you moved to cell phones, and now you have to encrypt that, and there's security problems. So anytime a new technology comes along, somebody has to examine the security implications of that. And people, the cost may be cheaper, more data, bigger bandwidth, and all that. What are security implications? Because the people who develop this technology don't think of security implications. And I have a deep root background in security, and I say everything new comes along, they don't have security experts side by side. So that's the danger, big danger. And the thing is, why you need a 5G? If you're happy with the 4G, why you need a 5G?
Yeah, yeah. So there's a time and place that technology should slow down, do you think?
I think it's not the slowdown. I think they have to examine the complete and fuller implications of the technology. Why? What example? I will give you one more thing. For example, like there's a mantra of vaccine. I'm giving this example as an illustration of what we just talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
So think about mantra of vaccines. I say, oh, okay. Well, the vaccine is not a complete solution. A vaccine is only a protective solution. Okay. Now think about it. So they couldn't make a vaccine because of COVID because it's mutating all the time. So
Hmm.
they with the new technology called mRNA, messenger RNA, which is so they create some fragment of the virus itself that goes to a human cell. Human cell reproduces that and makes the virus. So body says, oh, now we got a virus and I have to create antibodies for that. Okay. Now they're marching ahead and doing testing and all that, safety testing, but they don't go back and think about the bigger implications of that. So, for example, how would your own body, your antibody system, be able to differentiate between a pathogen that came from outside your body or that your own body created? So you are playing like a Frankenstein role by trying to change the body's human immune system and you can tell how will it work in a bigger population because you're fooling the immune system essentially, right? So
Yes.
immune says this is a foreign body, came from out of the body, is danger, let me assess what the danger is and create antibodies to destroy it, okay? But that's the basic immune system. But now this telling the immune system, say, no, this body is dangerous body was created by your own self. Destroy that, you know? So
Yes.
scary thought as to how is it possible that you can play around with disregard other implications and just focus on one small aspect of, to create a vaccine for COVID.
Absolutely, absolutely. This has been just an absolutely fascinating call with a brilliant individual who knows so very much. Now, everybody who's on the call today, I would definitely suggest that you ask for Tara to speak at your events, your conferences online at the moment, and other when the world opens up again. Now, Tara, importantly, when people want to find you and learn more about you, where will they find you?
Well, I have no problem. The basic is my telephone number and address is in my website, internetpromisegroup.com. I have a other websites called salestransactionsystems.com. We're trying to bring this magnificent payment technology without card being any place in the network. And then also we have a IPG, Internet Promise Group, IPG naturalhealth.com, or which also talks about the ear natural, which solves your ear immediate infection within a matter of minutes, single dose, single treatment, natural ingredients. And then I happy to receive anybody's call. My telephone number is 310-787-1400. And if Rich, one request I may make of you is that I wanted to connect with a lot of people in the world, especially who think like me or who can finance some of these innovations and to take it to the market. And I'm sure Elon Musk had a benefactor 10 years ago when he was trying to launch his car company,
Mm-hmm.
or so I want to find something similar kind of people who believe in innovations we do, how we do that, and help us succeed.
That's wonderful. Absolutely. This is the platform to do exactly that. We have a large audience and it's growing by the day, Tara. And in closing, after speaking with you, I'm thinking about things so differently. And I'd like to say thank you very much for spending some time with me on the My Future Business Show today.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today. If you enjoyed the call, then make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, share us with your friends, and book your spot on the show at myfuturebusiness.com/interviews. And if you're looking for solutions that will help grow your business, then visit myfuturebusiness.com/shop.